So hi, Katie here. Yeah, so it's been a while since I last did a video. I think I was feeling a bit down last time. I'm still feeling a bit rubbish, to be honest. Yeah, so thank you for all the kind comments that you put underneath my last video, to the people who are subscribing to me and the people who left comments. That's really, really kind of you. I'm just sort of, you know, I don't know whether I ever will be happy, because I don't know, as I said, I think I transitioned way too late, and now I will never ever get the chance to sort of live my life the way I wanted to, or I can't really explain it, but it's just, I just feel terrible. I would say to anybody who is thinking of transitioning, when, if they're like in their late teens, early 20s, I would say, go ahead and do it. If you're that sure, if you felt like that way since the age of 3, don't be like me. Don't end up wasting most of your life and having hardly any life left by the time you decide to start going on HRT and having surgery, etc. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to say really. I've got a new dress. I'm actually wearing a vest underneath it because I don't really have a boobage to as such to kind of like fit into it yet, but I'm hoping that I will get some kind of breast development soon. Well, it has started, but it's going to take ages. I mean, I'm probably going to have breast enhancements to actually, to get like an average sort of size chest proportion to my kind of height and build. So yeah. So, I mean, yeah, this is just going to be quite a random installment. What else can I say that's happened sort of in the last couple of weeks? Not much at all. I'm still working at home. I've actually got an orthodontist appointment next week, so I'm going to get my brace tightened, and I will find out how long it's going to be until my jaw surgery, because that's really bothering me. This is bothering me so much. But when they actually do that, then not only will my overbite be corrected, but hopefully I won't have this awful double chin that I've got, which makes my neck look really thick, and I just, and my under eyes, well, I could get those done next year via tear trough fillers maybe, or something like that, or I might even be able to get laser on them, but I think I'll probably need tear trough fillers. It's got a tongue twister. So yeah, oh, and also my blood pressure has been doing weird things. It's been going, I've got a blood pressure thing here, like a blood pressure machine, but this is like what I've been using. In fact, I will test my blood pressure now and let's see what it is, because it's been doing weird things. It's been, my blood pressure meds were up by 5 meg, but I'm still, like, sort of early evening, and sometimes right throughout the evening, I'm getting kind of really high sort of second number. Is it like the diastolic number, which is like 100 and something, like 113 it was one night, and then the top numbers in like 160. I think it almost hit 169 the one night, so I was quite concerned. But yeah, I'll just see what my blood pressure is now.
Please remain seated and refrain from talking during measurement, and keep cuff at the heart level. millimeter of mercury. Diastolic, 100 millimeter of mercury. Your pulse was 98. Your blood pressure is abnormal.
Abnormal. See?
Measuring over.
So yeah, that's basically why I'm worried. I mean, earlier on, like a couple of hours ago, it was 114 over 80 or like 78 or something like that. So it wasn't only normal, it was actually kind of in the ideal range. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a worry. It's nothing to do with my hormones because I put my hormone meds on in the morning and it was really low this morning. It didn't cause a spike in my blood pressure, even before I'd taken my blood pressure meds. It hadn't actually, the hormones hadn't affected my blood pressure at all. It was still low. This time of the day, it goes berserk for some reason, but there we go. It does worry me living on my own, and if anything happened to me, if I had a stroke, if I had a heart attack, then I would just literally be left on the floor and I'd probably die. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, like my life is kind of, like I said, I just wish I were young again. I just wish that I could, you know, kind of, I think sometimes I was born 30 years too early, or sort of, you know, it's just that sadness really that I can't, I mean, I'll never be anybody's daughter. You know, I think like if my parents had had the information that they have now, you know, that's common knowledge in society, you know, about transgender children and the support networks that are there, like Mermaids, which is wonderful, you know, and then you've got Gender Intelligence, which I feel a little exclusionary by extending their activities to 18 to 30-year-olds. 18 to 30-year-olds, sorry. So, but yeah, I mean, if they had those, you know, like wonderful sort of organisations like Mermaids, you know, and all this kind of like positive LGBT education in schools, then I don't think I would have had as much bullying from other children, and I don't think I think my parents would have understood, you know, what trans was, and they would have kind of, you know, been able to help me, you know, more sort of a better way maybe. I mean, I was quite lucky. My parents were never cruel to me or anything. They never sort of, I mean, I would put makeup on, you know, I would wear like blouses or dresses and put the ribbons in my hair, put my hair in pigtails and stuff, and they would never sort of like discipline me or anything, you know. And the only thing that they would say to me occasionally was, oh, you know, you can get bullied and stuff, you know, why are you doing that? You know, we were a little concerned and stuff. But really, you know, some of my friends, I mean, well, my one friend, she's about my age, and whenever her father caught her wearing a skirt, she would get a beating. So, yeah. So I was never beaten by my parents. If I did anything wrong, I would just be sent upstairs, you know, to my room. So I guess that's quite a, you know, you know, I mean, it's kind of, like throughout school I was bullied. I was called homophobic names, misogynistic names, told I couldn't do stuff. So, like my bullying, I mean, I was really kind of treated like a girl, but just a sort of girl that people wouldn't tolerate, really. You know, and when I left school I didn't have much confidence. I went to uni and I still didn't manage to develop much confidence. So, yeah, and I lost all that time. I never got a career. I never got I never had any relationships. You know, I never started a family because I just couldn't do it because it wasn't in me. And I mean, by that time I was kind of dressing, you know, in a sort of feminine stroke androgynous sometimes way, although I would try and be as feminine as I could, with short of wearing a dress or a skirt, you know. When I was actually fired from my job, I did have a job for 2.5 years at the university in the library, and I asked the personnel department, HR, if I could wear a skirt to work, I could put makeup on and stuff. And they said no, because they said it would be quote unquote inappropriate, And I hear in the news today that somebody else, a student, has been told that they couldn't form an LGBT society, and the student was trans, coincidentally, because because it was quote unquote inappropriate, And I just think it's outrageous. People are still coming out with that excuse. But yeah, I was fired from my job, and then several years later, the same company is sort of bragging about how much they support trans rights. The same university, I'll say company, they were taken over by a private company, etc. All that sort of BS, and they, and then they say, oh, it's coming in, oh, we're so supportive, oh, let's wave a flag at Pride, I mean, incidentally, it's Pride weekend in Wales, Pride Cymru weekend, we should all be out partying, but we can't, because of the risks, COVID and stuff. But it's been a really nice day as well. And every single Pride Day, it seems, in Wales is a really, really gorgeous day that I've been to. It's not as hot as it was last year. It was absolutely boiling last year, but it's been quite a nice, bright, sunny kind of day, a little bit cloudy, but yeah, so that's the source of my sadness, really, that all those lost years and the fact that I will never get that time back. And I kind of the idea of getting old. It fills me with absolute horror. I mean, I absolutely hate, being the oldest person in the room and being, losing touch with kind of people, when I was in my sort of 20s, for instance, when I was alone and lonely, I just wish that we had all these kind of groups and things and the internet and all this kind of networking that we have now. I mean, we still have transphobes, and in some ways the transphobia has actually become a lot more vicious online, and we're targeted a lot more. But at the same time, I mean, the vast majority of people are really kind of supportive, I find. And, you get the odd comment from some sort of bigot or somebody who is showing off in the street and wants to just upset somebody, but another person, but that's kind of the exception rather than the rule now. And I don't think me being trans is an issue for a lot of people anyway now. And I think to a certain extent, I mean, you always kind of had, most people did support us, they had respect for us, and it was just really kind of elements of the establishment, particularly in the UK, and also, maybe extremist sort of religious people, not all religious people, but extremist religious people who had a problem with LGBT people anyway, and also, obviously the far right, people like that, the political right. But aside from that, most sort of ordinary, reasonable people actually don't really care that much if somebody is trans, and these days 9 times out of 10 they'll have a niece, nephew who's trans, or a cousin, brother, sister, friend, colleague, whatever. They'll already know someone who's trans. So yeah, and but yeah, I mean, I see the world generally moving in a positive light, with regard to transgender rights and acceptance of trans people. Despite all the kind of extremist bigots like Posey Parker and Miranda Yardley and, those are the only two I can think of at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I see the world moving in a positive light, but unfortunately I don't think that I will be here a lot longer to actually be able to experience that, I so regret never being able to be somebody's daughter, never having been able to have an older mentor to guide me, especially now that I'm going through female puberty, via my HRT medications. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, I think I will end here because this has already been quite a long catch-up. So yeah, so in the meantime, unless my blood pressure rises sky high and it kills me, in the meantime, I will see you in another week or so's time. So, God, I'm hopeless at this. That didn't even make sense, did it, what I said? But, yeah, I mean, yeah. So anyway, I love you all. Thank you very much for watching. Please do tell me if you've had similar experiences to me, if you feel the same way as I do. Tell me how your childhood was, you know, if you're trans or even if you're not trans. And tell me about if you've got high blood pressure as well and what you do to get the blood pressure down. I have lemon water. I've been taking after dinner each evening. I've been getting a pint glass of water and filling it with vodka. No, I've been putting kind of water in there, tap water, and then cutting a lemon in half and just squeezing the whole lemon in there, you know, each half, and then stirring it round with a spoon, filling it up again, just sort of, you know, drinking it through the night, and I think that might have helped, you know, because my blood pressure goes down after a while. So yeah, so getting older, I hate to admit getting older, but it's not fun. I just wish there was a cure for it. I just wish there were a cure. I'm going to be grammatically correct. So yeah, anyway, love you all. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for your support, and cheerio.